So let's get into the week 4 picks. Um, the lock of the week is going to be the Bengals to defeat the Panthers. 1 win in 4 games for the Bengals up against number 14, Andy Dalton. 1 year and 4 months before Burrow and the Bengals win Super Bowl 60. And now the Giants are a terrible team. The Giants, their coach is going to get fired. And quite frankly, the Clowns played terrible. They were terrible against the Cowboys, and they only beat the Jaguars, who are 0-3, by a transitive approach. So looking at this, the Giants fought a 1-3. Dallas is Camacho 13, and Daniel Jones would fall to 1-8 versus Dallas. It's Jones that's Camacho of 18. The Super Bowl is at the 18th admitted state of the Union, which is Louisiana. The Cowboys are going to beat the Giants. And the Cowboys do have some momentum, scoring some garbage time points. So therefore, the Cowboys are going to beat the Giants. The Saints and the Falcons, lots of 22 going on with Atlanta, with the number 22 in 2 of their past scores. They won with 22 points, and then I think the Chiefs won with 22 points. But here, it's pretty obvious. Saints fought 2-2. Falcons improved to 2-2. Kirk is Camacho 22. It's Carr that's Camacho 22. So, by conclusion, the Falcons are going to win the game. The Jags and the Texans. Now, you may be sitting and just looking at Houston going 3-1 because of the fact that it's Houston that's Camacho 31, and it would be playing for 3-1. I know the Jaguars have looked bad. I know that if the Jaguars, if they do win, and they can try to go 2-0 against division, then the Jaguars could go for 3-3 if they put together a win streak. The Bears is Camacho 33, so I kind of do like that narrative there for the Jaguars to potentially win 4 or 5 straight games before Doug Williams, former Eagles coach, is up against the Eagles. So I will take the Jaguars. The Bills are a great team. The Texans got destroyed. So if the Texans got destroyed and the Jaguars got destroyed, I think the $1 million extension man is going to be motivated like no other week. So I have to go with the Jaguars to defeat the Houston Texans. The Denver Broncos and the Jets. The Broncos are a terrible football team. They're going to fall to 1-3. New York Jets is Camacho 13. They might have a chance against the Raiders. How much of a poverty-ass team are the Raiders? We'll find out. But in that game, and I would like to stop right here with, okay, that is the next game. Vikings-Packers. I gotta go Vikings in this one. Maybe Vikings, their first loss is against Rodgers and the Jets over at England. It's Rodgers that's Camacho 41. So by conclusion, if Rodgers is Camacho 41, we go to the standings. So if the Vikings win this week, they lose against the Jets. Fought a 4-1. Their first loss of the season against Aaron Rodgers, a former Green Bay Packer. If they fought a 3-1 against the Pack, then they'll beat the Jets the next week. The Vikings-Jets game is all contingent on what happens this week. Although it's Aaron that's Camacho 22, the Packers could fall to 2-2 before the Vikings face off against Aaron Rodgers. Anthony Richardson sucks. It's Will Levis. It's I like I like the Vikings to get the win. I'll ride the Viking momentum this week. It's like, oh, the Packers, they need Jordan Love to come back in order to make the playoffs. So I get it. If the Vikings lose, the division's competitive. But when the Lions beat the Seahawks on Monday Night Football, Lions Vikings, if Vikings lose and let's say Packers win the following week, then, Packers won't be down 2 games anymore. So I'll go Vikings in that game. Eagles and the Bucs. Um, I know if the Bucs fought a 2-2 against the Eagles, it is certainly possible. When I look at the NFC East, Eagles did get their first win of the year against the Packers, Camacho 31. So, do they start 3-1 in a season beginning against the Pack? This could be a revenge game against the Buccaneers. Never say never. Hurts, he could lose his 19th game against Baker because Baker's Gamache 19 and 37. He could go for his 37th win against Baker because Baker's 37 and Buccaneers is Gamache 37. So it's double coded either way. So let's go to Baker and see if things strike more with Baker Mayfield's record. I mean, not much. Well, two wins on the road. That would be saying something. That'd be quite impressive. Could the Buccaneers be 2-2? Let's see. Okay, I think the tiebreaker is with Todd Bowles. Maybe he could get his 21st win and go for the 22nd win after the Eagles. Nick Sirianni has also come out to 19. His 19th loss against Nick Sirianni. I think they got to make the NFC interesting, the playoff race. Think Eagles is the verdict. Packers Camacho 31. They began the season against the Pack. Maybe they start 3-1. I mean, Cowboys will win, so the Eagles, are they going to win? They'll probably lose against Burrow. We go to Baker's statistics against the NFC. Buccaneers is 62 at the win. He'd be 6-2 against the NFC East with the victory. He could lose his 42nd game on Sunday against Jalen Hurts. Jalen's Camacho 42. So I think Eagles are safe. Steelers in the Colts. They're 3-0. The Colts is Camacho 30. You think about the AFC, are the Steelers with a trash quarterback really going to be the team that's going to be in the playoff field? So if the Jaguars win, then Steelers get their first loss of the year to fall to 3-1. Steelers is Camacho 31. The Colts will stay in the playoff mix, get a big win before facing off against the Jaguars. These two teams here could both be coming off of big wins. So I'll go Colts over the Steelers. Steelers is 31. They can fall to 3-1. The 49ers again defeat the Patriots. The 49ers improve to 2-2. They just left SoFi Stadium. SoFi 22. They can be 2-2. '49ers are going to need to win that game before they travel to Arizona. Matthew Stafford, I like his 13th win against the Bears. LA's as a Gematria 13. There's no Cooper Kupp. There are questions about that, but overall, the Rams had a big comeback in the division. Now, if the Rams do lose, it's LA that's 13 and Pack is Gematria 13. It could be 1-3 entering their game against the Pack, but I gotta go with the win here over the Bears. Now the Bears could easily fall to 1-3 against LA because LA's Gematria 13. It's interesting how that works. Panthers and the Bears in the basement. The Bears winning the trade big time. Panthers are smote that game. These two teams will be in the basement dweller, so to speak. Caleb gets a little easier against Carolina, so I'm going to go with the LA Rams to get the win over the Bears. Cardinals going to win. The Commanders are a hoax. This game was just scripted for the Bengals to lose. Cardinals going to get the win over the Commanders. Again, they're keeping the division close since it's a terrible division. The Commanders are not going to win. They'll still be in the race. The Eagles are going to lose some games, but Commanders will lose, and the Clowns are a terrible team. So I think they'll probably beat the Clowns. Yes, they will, but they're losing at Arizona. It won't surprise me to see Tampa win. Chiefs are going to beat the Chargers. The Chargers, their rookie is out. Their quarterback is hurt. Chiefs win. Herbert is Gematria 40. The Chiefs go for 4-0. They do get the 4-0. Seahawks are a joke. They're a pretender. They're 3-0 against the AFC. They're 0-1 against the NFC. They're terrible. They played a 2-less Dolphins, a terrible Patriots team, and a terrible Bronco team. So, Detroit Lions, they get the win. They'll be 3-1. Lions are one of the prime locks of the week. And then the Lions can get the win over Dallas because Dallas is Gematria 41. So if the Lions are 3-1, they're going for 4-1 against Dallas the next week. The Dallas in reverse. Mercury Morris, number 22, passed away. And I think the Dolphins on Monday Night Football kind of rally around the team. Are going to get the win to improve the 2-2 to defeat Will Levis. Levis is Gematria 22. So I do like the Dolphins to win and be 2-2. Don't think it's time to panic yet. Think Dolphins get a big win. Bills and the Ravens, one of the most interesting games of the week. The Bills, if they lose, could enter the Texans game with a 3-1 record. Houston is Gematria 31. They could be 4-1 if they do beat the Texans the next week, but this game, I see Lamar Jackson handing the Bills their first loss of the year. Because I just like the 3-1 record before they play against Houston, because Houston's Gematria 31. So we don't see Houston going to 3-1, but I do see their next opponent improving to 3-1. So the Jaguars, they get the win. They stay alive in the division. Bengals win, Ravens win. Oakland's 22. The Raiders could be 2-2. The Browns be 2-2 against Oakland. I think that game, it all depends with Deshaun Watson. Or Gardner can be benched or something like that. Deshaun Watson is 38th win against the Raiders. Raiders, Camacho 38. Just fade to oblivion, baby. Browns gonna beat the Raiders. This team sucks. They began the season against LA. LA 13. They're 1-3. They're a poverty ass organization. They're a big giant joke. Eagles Bucs is the most iffy game of the bunch. But it is a terrible division. Are the Commanders going to keep up with the Eagles? They do get the Bears and the Panthers and the Giants, and then they get the Ravens. I think they'll beat the Browns, so it'll be interesting. I gotta go Eagles in first place after next week, and Commanders to lose. Cowboys to get the win. The Giants are just a joke. Um, these are the picks for the week. Plus Todd Bowles. Bowles is Camacho 22, coach of the Buccaneers. They fall 2-2 or something like that. It allows Captain Kirk and the Falcons try to take siege if all three teams are 2-2. This is interesting. If all three teams are 2-2, then technically the Panthers are in playoff contention. So the Panthers are not out of the playoffs, even though it is far-fetched. And they do get the Bears after this week, even if they lose against the Bengals. But if the Eagles lose, the Dallas Cowboys be like, we're going to win the division, and then reality kicks in. Oh, my God. Then the Lions and the 49ers and the Falcons with Captain Kirk. And the Steelers defense, oh boy. Yeah, the biggest iffy game is Bucs Eagles.